Yo, what's up, y'all? I am actually in the book of Ecclesiastes right now, and one of the things that's been dope to see is, of course, if you've read the book of Ecclesiastes before, you know that this is Solomon who's writing this book, right? Solomon is the son of King David, and God has blessed Solomon with more wisdom than any man on earth has, or I would say even had, right? You have some theological scholars that talk about how Solomon was 8 to 10 times richer than Bill Gates. Not only was he full of wisdom, but he was full of wealth, of course. Um, but one of the things that's amazing about the book of Ecclesiastes is Solomon, he has kind of the triumvirate of what I would say people most likely want in life that they think that's going to make them happy according to the flesh, right? In hip hop, there was a song by Little Kim, and I think the Locks made it. It was called "Money, Power, Respect," right? And that's how the hook of the song goes: "Money, power, respect. It's the key to life. Money, power, respect. What you need in life. Money, power, respect. Money, power, respect." Right? And that's what the flesh usually tells us. Will make us happy is if we have money, if we have power, and if we have respect. Solomon had all of those things. He had money and wealth. He had power. He had armies. And he had respect. People knew that he was wise. The Bible actually said that there were people that came from all over the place to hear him speak. So he had both money, power, and respect in full measure, right? And in a way that no man has ever seen. Yet he writes this book of Ecclesiastes where he talks about how money, power, and respect does not satisfy him ultimately, right? And so when I think about what Solomon says, and I think about where we are in our time, I think about, we're in the age of social media where everyone on social media is showing their highlights. And everyone on social media is trying to paint an image of themselves. Social media is all about your image. It's all about your brand. And social media is flooded with people that are showing you how great and amazing their life is, especially those who have money. And what we're actually discovering is that a lot of people on social media that look like they have money actually don't have that much money. They're usually scamming people and stuff like that too. But you have some people out there that do. And I think that the Bible is very clear that we can't serve both God and money. And that all that is in the world is the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, pride of life. And I feel like when I'm thinking about the things that the flesh tries to get us to pursue to make us think that it would, we would be happy and satisfied, materialism is a big part of that. That's why the Bible has so much warnings against that. It talks about in Timothy how one shouldn't desire to be rich, and that those who are chasing after riches, find themselves injured spiritually. And so, there's no one I think who knew this better than Solomon, right? And if you think about what Solomon says in Solomon chapter 2, take a look at this. He says, "I said in my heart, come now, I will test you with pleasure. Enjoy yourself, but behold, this was also vanity," right? So Solomon is constantly talking about how everything is vanity and meaningless, or striving after the wind. Basically, Solomon is saying all of these material things don't really mean anything, right? At the end of the day. So he's saying in verse 2, I am going to test myself with pleasure. I who have access to all of the pleasures that you can think of, I am going to test myself by consuming as much pleasure and as much kind of like the sensual earthly things that I can to see if it's going to bring me satisfaction, right? So he says here, I said of laughter, it is mad, and of pleasure, what use is it? I search with my heart how to cheer my body with wine, right? Look at that. I'm just going to do a yellow glow there. My heart still guided me with wisdom, and how to lay hold on folly till I might see what was good for the children of man to do under heaven during the few days of their life. I made great works. I built houses and planted vineyards for myself. Let's highlight this, right? I made myself gardens, peep this, and parks, and planted them all kinds of fruit trees, and planted in them all kinds of fruit trees, right? I made myself pools from which to water the forest of growing trees. I bought male and female slaves. Right? We have to get to that at a different time. And had slaves who were born in my house. I had great possessions, not just possessions, right? But I had, triple underline, great possessions of herds and of flocks, more than any, let's triple underline that too, who had been before me in Jerusalem. Let's triple underline that too. I also gathered for myself silver, gold, and the treasure of kings and provinces. I got singers, right? This man had people performing for him, both men and women. Many concubines, right? This is multiple different women that he was sleeping with, right? So I became great and surpassed all who were before me in Jerusalem, right? Also my wisdom remained with me, and whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them, right? I kept my heart from no pleasure, for my heart found pleasure in all my toil, and this was the reward for all my toil. And then I considered all that my hands had done, and the toil I had expended in doing it. And behold, all was vanity and a striving after the wind, and there was nothing to be gained under the sun, right? So Solomon is literally telling us, that I have literally tested myself. I've given myself every pleasure that you could. You think about Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates, he had that kind of money. He had more than that kind of money. I built houses. I planted vineyards. I had servants and slaves in my house. Not only the ones that I bought, but the ones that were born in my house, which means that he had servants and slaves for a long time, right? They were birthing children in there. I had concubines. I had great possessions. I had herds and flocks. I had silver. I had gold. I had the treasure of kings and provinces. All of this time, I still also had my wisdom. So people wanted to hear me speak. I knew a whole bunch of stuff. He was like the epitome of human existence when it comes to having all of the things that you can have on this earth, in which we think would satisfy us. And at the end of it, he still said there was nothing to be gained. This was striving after the wind. And you know what's so crazy is that after he goes through this in the book of Proverbs, if we scroll all the way to the end of the book, chapter 12, at the very end, this is what he says. The end of the matter, right? The end of the matter, all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments. Let's look at this. The end of the matter, all has been heard. After all of this, this is his instruction to us. Fear God, keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment with every secret thing, whether good or evil. Right? Solomon says, look, you don't have to actually go out there and test this for yourself. I did it for you. None of these material things are going to satisfy you. Riches are not going to satisfy you. Being able to buy whatever you want is not going to satisfy you. Homes and estates are not going to satisfy you. Silver and gold are not going to satisfy you. Multiple women or men is not going to satisfy you. The only thing that is going to satisfy you, all of these things are vanity in a chasing after the wind, meaning that it's meaningless. At the end of the day, the most important thing for us to do is to fear God and keep his commandments, because we are going to be judged by him for the deeds that we have done, whether they are good, bad. And then he says, not even just for the deeds, but he said for every secret thing, meaning the things that you have done that nobody but you and God knows about. Right? So you could be fooling other people. This is a note to self too, but you're not fooling God, and he's going to judge you for it if we are not coming clean and living for him the way that we should. So I was just thinking about this, like just in the age of social media, where everyone is trying to floss, everybody's trying to stunt, everybody is trying to flex. Solomon already tells us that none of these things are going to satisfy us. And in fact, a lot of these things may be a distraction from the very thing that he told us to do, which is fear God and keep his commandments. We always hear that the height of wisdom for some of us when it comes to experience is to not have to put your hand on the stove in order for it to be burned, your hand to be burned itself, in order for you to learn that the stove is hot. Look at what has happened to other people that are coming to you and showing you their scarred hand and saying, look, the stove is hot. Do not put your hand on it. Wisdom is learning from other people's mistakes so that you don't make the same mistakes yourself. Solomon, who has wisdom, is telling us, learn from our mistakes. Do not pursue fleeting material riches and pleasures over God, right? Now, there is a place for us to enjoy material things. Ecclesiastes also talks about that too, that there are certain things that we've worked for and we've been rewarded for our hard work, and that it is God's gift to man for us to enjoy those good things. Like you made some good money and you want to take your family out for a nice dinner or vacation, enjoy that. God is giving you that to enjoy. But what Solomon is saying is this should not be the raison d'etre, the meaning, the entire meaning of our life is just to consume into like inundate ourselves with pleasure, right? In materialism. At the end of the day, we should fear God and keep his commandments. That's what we should focus on. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and I will add all of these things, the things that you need unto you, right? That should be our focus. And this is a note to me too, because it's easy to get distracted, man. It's easy to get distracted in 2025 when we have all of this technology. We have access to everyone else's life. You have social media in which you can always be comparing yourself to other people and being like, dang, they living a better life than I am. They don't have to, like, especially in the era where people are trying to stunt, trying to show their riches. It's good for us to remember that our focus should be pursuing God, pursuing righteousness and holiness, and fearing him. That's all I got for y'all today. God bless y'all. Southside Rabbi will be coming back soon. Keep us lifted as we continue to just pursue more sponsorship and things of that nature. But I wanted to make sure to check in with you all and touch base. So we love you. I'll see y'all later. Peace.